Shalom to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and welcome back to another episode of Torah Tuesday. And tonight's topic, we're going to deal with something simple, but it's needful. Okay. The title is going to be Honor Thy Father and Thy Mother. Now, I didn't have a video for this, but a brother, Shar, one of the brothers of Messenger of the Covenant, sent a video about a 10-year-old boy. Uh, and I'm gonna play that video. Like I said, I didn't have one, but I'm gonna play this one because it goes hand in hand in what the Heavenly Father and why the Heavenly Father has put these commandments out there. And a 10-year-old boy committed murder. We know that that's happening a lot, but the thing is this: it's a lack of discipline, okay, that we and a lack of understanding that we as a society fail to get this youth the understanding about these laws, statutes, and commandments. And also, it's a lack of fear. And that's what the laws bring out. And that's what these laws are going to bring out, by dealing with honor thy mother and thy father. And also, it doesn't just pertain just to them, it pertains to the elders of the children of Israel. It could be an auntie, it could be any elder, anyone that's older, right, that can give leadership and guidance to our children. So when it says honor, it means honor the eldership within our nation. So I'm gonna play this video, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna go into the scriptures, go into the law, and just bring out what thus said the Lord. All right. I'm gonna skip a little bit. As a matter of fact, hold on 1 minute. I forgot to share. I'm sorry. Forgot to share my screen. Alrighty. We're getting it right this time. Okay.
I ain't got no problem with that. Normally, I would not say this about a
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skip a little bit, but I'm gonna go right into the meat of the video.
10-year-old boy, but lock him up. Lock him up. Lock that uncivilized mud up. The uncivilized mud baby gangster was arrested on 2 counts of first-degree murder after former Minden Mayor Joe Cornelius Sr., 82, and his daughter Keisha Miles, a 31-year-old mom of 3, were found dead with multiple gunshot wounds inside his home early Sunday. Without specifying the exact relationship, the police chief Jared McIver said the boy was a relative of Cornelius and Miles. The pint-sized shooter allegedly...
Okay. He said that the shooter, the 10-year-old boy, was probably a relative. Okay, so now we're talking about, uh, who they didn't really name him, whether he was the nephew or the grandson. Well, definitely was the grandson, but still in all, he's a member of the family. So just keep that in mind.
confessed to the double homicide and showed no remorse. A neighbor said he heard 8 gunshots ring out around 6:30 a.m. Sunday after Cornelius and the 10-year-old boy had gotten into a loud argument. He said, "I think that's what happened. He was arguing with him. I heard them hollering and stuff." Police have not confirmed the nature of the argument or if the boy had autism. Cornelius was a longtime city council member and was once appointed mayor in 2013. So here we have a gentleman who is in the twilight of his life. He's 82 years old, seen it all, a career-long public servant. Check out his resume, fam. He worked at.
Okay, I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. I want to get to, like I said, the meat of it. And let's see. I think about let's see.
You know, Joe used to be a sheriff. So the neighbors say that the kid knew where the gun was. So he got the gun. I guess he'd been watching these other videos and, watching TV and, watching people settle their arguments with gunfire. Have a disagreement, get a gun, and end it by shooting somebody and killing them. That's what we're doing now. Like, conflict resolution is a lost art. American society is it's gone to hell, fam. I mean, let's go ahead on.
So, like he said, American society has gone to hell. We know that. A hell in the handbasket. We know that. And that's one of the reasons why I I wanted to bring out Torah Tuesday. Because even though we're living in hell, the Most High God laws and statutes still have to be put out there. It still has to be rehearsed. It still has to be taught, for our nation. And that's one of the reasons, like I said, I wanted to go into the Torah and bring certain laws out that we deal with every day. Because a lot of people can't make the decisions. And when I mean decisions in life, whether it be right or wrong, they always want to go on how they feel about certain things. No, you can't go on how you feel about it, whether it be good or whether it be bad. That you have to solidify that and back it up with the word of the Most High God, which is his laws. That's how you determine and make the decision in one's life. So just want to put that out there too, because society has gone to hell. Because there's no fear. There's no fear of the Most High in the land.
Let's call a strike and a ball. I mean, we still here, so, we still got action, but damn, man. It's in hell right now. We're not going to hell. We're in hell. And we got to get up out of here, man. We got to get up out of here. Before y'all go in too deep on these kids, remember, it's not all the kids. It's not all of them. I wouldn't even say it's most of them. I would say it is a few, because the bad stuff is what climbs to the top of the news cycles. We have to communicate with young people and not assume that they know right from wrong. We have to communicate with them and not assume that they know when they squeeze that trigger.
See, what the brother said, we have to communicate with them. Once again, communicate with them through the word of the Most High God, through this Bible. That's the best communication you can ever give our people, the nation of Israel, as well as the other nations. You see, this word and these laws put everything structure and in order. Structure and in order. That's what's needed, not chaos. And that's what we're living in. We're living in chaos. But through the grace and the mercy of the Most High God, that Israel is waking up. Israel is returning to the Most High and understanding our nationality, understanding our sisters and brothers and who they truly are, and even understanding the other nations as well. So we're coming back. The Most High is blessing us. But like he said, we have to communicate. We have to bring forth some type of understanding to help the youth as well as the whole nation of Israel. Okay, just keep that in mind, because it's true.
Ain't no turning back. That not only will they stop the argument, but they're going to stop that person's heart. That they're not coming back. It's not like cartoons. You kill somebody or shoot somebody and the bullet go right through them and they get back up. No. When you squeeze that trigger and that bullet leave that chamber, it's a wrap. We have to also explain to them how their lives would change forever. Now, we ain't got to use them as an example. We can use somebody else, another kid that it's happened to. We just make examples of how different these people's lives turned out to be because of the bad choices they made. You gotta give them things that's relatable. There's enough stories out there about kids who have killed their parents or grandparents.
Keep that in mind. He said there's enough stories out there about kids killing their parents or their grandparents or some elder, one that is, older than them within the nation. We see that all the time.
Over some damn games, over credit card charges. That story's out there. They'll pull those stories up and let them know, make sure that they understand the consequences for their actions. Because some of them, quite frankly, really don't understand. They know guns hurt people. They know guns kill people, but their minds are so underdeveloped, they really don't understand the full ramifications. You let them know, look, when you do this, you're going to go away. And all the things that you love, including these games, you're not going to have access to them anymore. We have to start having these conversations with youngsters before they become teenagers. I don't think 3 or 4 years old is too young to start having these conversations. We have to give them an understanding. Just like when you see somebody on a cartoon jump off of a building and they land on their feet, or they fall down and get back up and just take off running. Or you see this sometime in action films. People, jump from building to building. You have to make sure that they understand what they're watching and understand that that's not real. If you try that, you're going to die. You're not going to get back up. Life is going to go for you. It's over. Got to have those conversations. Otherwise, they may not get it. R.I.P. Joe Cornelius and Keisha Miles. No more talk.
Willie D. Live.
What's up, family? The 10-year-old boy.
That's right. So, props to Willie D, man, for just putting that video out there and just being real. But, that's what I'm saying. When he said we have to teach them, he said he was starting at 4 years old. Of course, he was starting at 1 year old. 1 year old. You got to start spanking them little legs and making sure that that child knows who's in charge. Just like when we read this Bible and we understand these commandments, we know who's in charge, who gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay, so we're going to get into it, family. We're going to get into it, Israel, and we're going to start off with the law. Okay, we're going to start off with the law. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 20, and we're going to read 12. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Now that's the key right there. It's saying that in return of honoring, meaning respect, your parents, that your days upon this land, upon this earth, will be prolonged. You can't beat that. Everybody's looking for longevity life. You have drugs out there that they're making billions of dollars on, trying to guarantee you youth and prolong and life, lifelong jeopardy. But here in the Bible, we're just telling the Most High is giving you for free. He says, honor thy father and thy mother. And that's what prolongs your life. Because as you start to get older, then you start to get more understanding, more wisdom, and then you start to see in the structure in which the Most High has put the children of Israel according to his laws. So it's the structure that we're looking for, and it's within these laws. So it says, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. All right. Let's stay in Exodus and let's get 20. Exodus 20 and verse 17. And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Now, that young man, that 10-year-old young man, if he would have been taught, now, like I said, I don't know the situation, but I'm quite sure that it had to be something that was ongoing, a disciplinary action situation that was ongoing for him to come to the conclusion to grab a gun and to kill his family. He just didn't come out the blue and just grab it and start shooting. No. But see, it goes back to when you said that when you start teaching your children at a young age and you start implementing these laws into them, it gives them something to reflect in their mind and what they're dealing with at that age, whether it be 1 or whether it be 20. It gives them something, some type of structure saying that there's some fear there of a higher power than me, your parents, that the Most High God that you implement into them. So that's why it says even curse. Now we know when we say curse, mean cursing where you're not even now. I heard a lot of people and I've seen a lot of people curse around their parents. You know, I don't do it. I definitely wasn't raised like that. And my mother looked at me, from a distance, be like, "Watch your mouth." But that's right now. That's almost a norm. But it says curse. So now when it says curse, whether that means that you cursing, using foul language, or if you saying, I wish you was dead, stuff like that. And that's one thing that I can give our nation of people, though, is that, back in the day, we didn't play with our kids. My mother didn't play with me. I mean, I knew who the authority was, and I know how far I could go. Now we know that as we begin to get older, as the old folks used to say, oh, she's smelling herself, or he's smelling himself, and that will get corrected immediately. But now, like I said, generations have passed on, and this new generation, that this is what they need. They need that structure. They need someone to step up and tell them, hey, watch your mouth. Hey, that's not acceptable. But that's not being done. But when you look at it, that's not having no fear as well. Because I feared my mother and father. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't get many whoopings, is because I knew what the consequences was for doing something that they wouldn't approve of. And that's what needs to be put back. And now with social media, man, it's even harder for these parents because they're raising their kids on these tablets, these phones. They've been influenced by so much that's out there, so much information. I mean, just alone the adults, we're being bombarded with so much information. Just think about what the kids are being bombarded with. And especially if you leave them to themselves, just give them a tablet and let them start picking and choosing things like that. I mean, we're living in a times where we can avoid it, but you have control over how much time they can spend on it. See, and this all reflects back to these laws and these commandments. So we're going to continue on. Let me get Proverbs. Get the book of Proverbs real quick. Because that's a sad situation, of that young man. That young man is 10 years old and he's facing double murders. He will never see outside of them prisons no more. That's it for him. Double murders at 10 years old. Now, the thing is that now the system is going to raise him And we know what the system is like out in there. Put it that way. There's not going to be no correction. No, man, it's sad. It really is sad to think about how that young man's life is just gone. And then, not only that, but then once he passed away, once he died and leave this earth, guess what? The judgment is still going to be lying right at his foot. The Most High is going to judge him for that. See, that's what I'm saying. You have to implement this fear. You have to give these children this understanding at a very, very young age. I see a lot of, little videos when they say, they think the little kid is doing something cute. No. To a point. You limit that to a point. But then you have to let them know that, hey, I don't like that. Hey, don't do that. And if it takes for you to spank them on their butt or spank their hand, then that's what you need to do so that you can gain control of them as they get older. Because they're going to go through their teen years. We know that. I've been through my teen years. I've done some things, so it's just part of life. Then you go through from your teens, then you go to your 20s. I mean, it's a part of life. But the Heavenly Father has structured, like I said, these laws, and we know within ourselves that, you know what, I got to get on this one early. Because it's going to be a problem if I don't. Okay? So Proverbs chapter 20, and I'm going to go to 20. It says, whoso curseth his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out of whosoever curses his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out of curious darkness. So he's telling you right now that his light is going to be taken out. Because the Most High take this very serious. Because just like this kid here, who knows how he was raised, but now at the age of 10, he's a killer. And there's a whole lot of them out there too. It's a whole lot of them out there. It says occurs into darkness. So, we got to meditate on these things, man. We really do. Let's go to Leviticus. Leviticus chapter 19. And we're going to read 3. Verse 3. Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbath. I am the Lord your God. Now, here's the fear part. When he said, ye shall fear. And that means respect. But then it says, every man his mother and his father. So now we're talking about the elders that I spoke of earlier, of having respect for the elders of our nation and those that are older than you. Because there's a lot of times, a few movies, and even within our household, when our parents had to work and they leave the smaller kids with the bigger kids, they'll tell them in a minute, whatever that oldest tell you to do, you better do it. Because if not, when I get home, I'm going to deal with you. We heard that time and time again, but that was the structure that, our mother or our father left within that house. She didn't leave it as a chaos. She didn't leave them all to themselves. She didn't leave them to the tablet. No, she left an older person in charge. So here it says, ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, right? And keep my Sabbaths. See, more into the law in which the Most High is telling us that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Continue on. Let's stay in Leviticus. And I want to see, where is that? 120. Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 9. For everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He have cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. See, that's that judgment. When he says his blood should be upon him, that means no one else, whether he was raised right or raised, not right. Regardless, you still have a sense and understanding, right, of what boundaries to take. Like I said before, you know, cursing or using foul language around your parents, or even to the point where they do, let's say, smoking weed. Let's say those who may indulge in smoking weed, and you sitting there, you smoking weed with your mother or your father, that's out of order. That's completely out of order. Having a drink or two, that's okay, but not getting drunk. See, that will be out of order. See, we know these things, man. All we have to, and these things are in us to the point where as you begin to mature, then you know what's right and what's wrong within yourself. Now take that and then read these laws and say, oh, okay, now I really get it now. There's consequences behind if I'm not doing it right. That's what these laws and that's what the Bible brings, the consequences on the decision that you may have to make. So that's why he said that, once again, I'll read it again, verse 9. It says, for everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He have cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. Okay, his blood shall be upon him. Let's go to Deuteronomy. These are all in the law now. Okay, just keep that in mind. It's all in the law. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 21. And I'm going to go with 18. All right, go with 18. Now, here we are dealing with a rebellious son or daughter in the law. It gives you how to deal with these rebellious kids. Now, mind you, what I'm about to read now is that the consequences of this during the time of Moses and when Moses gave us this law, oh, they was putting they weren't putting them in prison. They weren't putting them in oddie homes. No, they was putting them to death, which we're going to read right now. Verse 18. If a man have a stillborn or a rebellious son or daughter, which shall not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, see, they already didn't discipline him, but the kid is just out of order, just rebellious. Okay, it says, and they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them. Verse 19. Then shall his father and his mother lay hold of him and bring him out unto the elders of the city and unto the gates of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of the city, this our son is stillborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. So now they calling them out. They didn't done what they can do with him. So now they calling them out. And what they do, they brought the elders to bring more judgment, to be a witness. And we know, I mean, we all got family members like that. Like I said, whether it be a son or a daughter, they're just out of whack. You know, you try hard and they just can't get it right. Always out in the streets, you try to get them to stay home and try to get things settled and everything. And they just got to hit the club. Then when they get out to the club, they drunk, they fighting out there. Then all of a sudden the next day you get the report back of what your son or what your daughter did. And you be like, damn, this damn child's gonna get themselves killed. And you don't want to bury your child. But this is sort of the situation that we know, and at least from my experience in life, that I've seen with some of my family members, as well as, just the neighborhood. We always know the neighborhood troublemakers. But this is what the law is saying, though. If you have a rebellious and a stud-born son or daughter, it says bring them to the elders, right? And they, because they've done all they can, they say they chastened them. So let's read verse 21 and find out what the judgment is. Verse 21. And all the men of the city shall stone him with stones. See, check that judgment out. It says, all the men of the city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shall he put evil away from among you. And all Israel shall hear and fear. See, that's the judgment. And I guarantee you, if the Most High put that in his law, and if that one of those judgments be carried out, you know what kind of shockwave that will put across our nation and across our children? Think about it. That would send one hell of a fear shockwave that they will hear that, some of them would see it, and I guarantee you our children would not be acting the way that they're acting today. Okay? If that judgment would be put forth. Because they say every man shall stone him. And then that's a horrible death, to be stoned. But I guarantee you that will bring peace in your house. If it wasn't your son or daughter who got stoned, yeah, you won't have no more problems out of your son or your daughters if they witness this. But see, that's what the Heavenly Father said. It says, so that so shall thou put evil away from among you. See, the Most High called those actions that son or daughter that was doing and that rebelliousness, he called it evil. And then once you have recognized that this is an evil thing that this person is doing, it says, and Israel, and I'm sorry, and all Israel shall hear and fear. That's what brings the reality check to our nation now, is the judgment that the Most High have within his laws. And mind you, that kind of fear will strike all of us, because even the parents, because when the little kids start running around and they be thinking it's cute, oh, don't do that, blah, 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 they'll think about, I better jump on this one quick, because I don't want to be him to raise up and be rebellious and then he gets stoned. See, it's in fear within the parents as well. Okay. Let me go to Proverbs. Let me go back to Proverbs real quick. Let me get Proverbs, let me see, 13. Go down to 24. Proverbs 13 and verse 24. All right. We didn't heard this one before, and it stands true. It says, he that spareth the rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chastises him bedtime. See, they always say, oh, put him on timeout. We don't do no damn timeout. You know, that's for them other nations. You know, us, we timeout. What the hell is timeout? See, they get to reading those books and they start dealing with them social, them people that out of them shrinks, whatever you want to call it, you know, thinking that you're not supposed to spank a child or even whoop a child. They say put them on timeout. Them kids ain't worried about no timeout, especially the way that they act today. All this food that they're eating is then restructured the chemistry of their bodies, their minds, and you're gonna try to put that kid on timeout? Come on. And then these other nations, what they do is they try to put the kids on timeout on Reddit, on drugs. And then when the kid come off of the drugs, then what? He's back again, wilding, doing it and wilding out. So right here it says, do not spare the rod. And you shouldn't spare the rod. They should know where the authority is at, and it lies within that father and that mother within that household structure. Period. It has to be established. Has to be established. I'm going to read it again. He that spareth the rod hateth his son, But he that loveth him chastise him bedtime. I'm going to stay in Proverbs. We get 23. Start at 13. And like I said before, you got to start them young. Like Willie D said, hey, you got to start them at about 4 years old. I say start them at 1 years old. 1 years old, as soon as he can give eye contact, that immediately you start talking to him and telling that child, hey, I love you, blah, blah, blah. However you want to do it, however you want to set your distance, but you let that child know. And it's funny because kids are coming out so smart now that with that eye contact, that means a lot. It means a whole lot. Okay. So the Most High says, stone that rebellious child. Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 13. It says, withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beat him with a rod, he shall not die. Once again, this timeout stuff, or just take away his computer, or take away his phone. I mean, that works to a certain extent, but if you feel that this child has really been going off, like took the keys to your car and drove off, or tell you what, I tell you a good one. Go in your wallet or your mom's purse and take money out. That deserves to be beaten. Period. That's stealing. That goes back to the thou shalt not steal. You see, all of these scenarios like that, that's what's the different scenarios. Okay, good. But make sure, if it's serious to a point where it's breaking another law, that child has to be beaten. It's got to know. Tell him to stick out his fingers, get you a ruler, and whack them fingers. But I just gave that as a scenario. But then there's certain, like I said, there's certain situations where that rod is needed. So when it says, I'm going to read it again. Withdraw, it says, withdraw not correction from the child. For if thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die. Nothing going to happen to him. So don't spare the rod. Verse 14, thou shalt beat him with a rod, and shall deliver his soul from hell. See, and that's what, like I said, I don't know the background or the story of that 10-year-old kid, but he must have missed some beatings, because now his soul is going to hell. No, he didn't broke two major laws within the Most High God. Number one, he broke, thou shalt honor thy father and thy mother. That's number one. Number two, this young child has committed murder. So I wouldn't want that on my book standing before the judgment seat of the Most High God. I can tell you that much. But mind you, the Most High is going to go back to them parents as well. You're going to go back to them parents and find out. See, the Most that's one thing when you start reading the scriptures, man. I'm telling you, it gives you perspective on how our nation was formed. Okay, I can say this: it was formed, and we were formed in righteousness. So righteousness have to come out from us as well as from this Bible. See, that's why the Most High just not going to stop at that kid. He's going back to find out what was going on. And that's one thing about the Most High knows all things. So you can't lie to him. You can't hide from him. Okay. Verse 14. Thou shalt beat him with a rod, and shall deliver his soul from hell. Verse 15. My son, if thy heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even thine. Okay, even mine. Okay. Just going to give one more scripture though, just to let you know when the Most High said that deliver his soul from hell, and then the Most High said, you know what? Because when I read that, I was like, man, that's a harsh thing to stone, uh, a person. And I've seen a video where, somewhere in Africa somewhere, where they literally stoned a brother. That was a harsh death. Big stones too, not no little rocks. I mean, to the point where a couple of times when they struck him real good, he went limp. But then when he went limp, they kept throwing boulders and rocks on top of him as he was just, was gone, was knocked out. But that lets you know that the Most High, he don't care about this flesh. You know, he don't care about this flesh. What he gonna deal with is that soul. Okay, let's get one scripture about him not dealing with the flesh. I'm gonna go to First Peter. Uh, yeah, First Peter. I'm gonna go to chapter 1. Let's see. First Peter chapter 1 and verse 24. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as a flower of grass. The grass withered, and the flower thereof falleth away. So the Most High telling you, all flesh is like grass. I just cut my grass the other day. Just chop, throw it away, didn't think nothing about it. A couple of weeks it's gonna wither and die. That's how the Most High feel about, this flesh. So that's about it, Israel, for this Torah Tuesday. Keep tapping in. I know I did it live this time, so hopefully it went well, and hopefully that our people, our nation of people, will wake up, realize, especially those who are in the faith of the Most High, of this Israelite movement. Continue to read the Torah. Go back and start reading those first 5 books that's in the Bible. Start structuring your life around these laws and commandments, for guidance. That's what they're there for. So with that, Israel, I'm gonna say shalom. Get back up here.